it cornered, and then we'll blow it the fuck out into space. Is that acceptable to you?
Welcome to the Real Movie Duels podcast. I'm Drew.
I'm Nick.
And this is our first podcast. Ever. But it's like 30 years in the making.
It's true.
Yeah. So
we've been talking about doing it for years.
Correct. Nick and I grew up together in the 80s, right?
Sure.
And we watched a lot of movies.
You're aging us right now.
I know. And so we always talked about we talked about writing a book, right? Like a movie review book or something.
Right. So we used to always get the movie review books back in the day, and we would always give our synopsis based off of the reviews that we'd read, and we would give our own ratings, and just between ourselves. And so we thought it would be a good idea to maybe share that with some other people.
So we were going to write a book, but nobody reads books.
It's true.
And now the internet's out there.
Yeah, so this is much easier.
Yes, much easier than writing a blog or, whatever. So we're going to do a podcast. But instead, to make it kind of different, we're going to do a duel. So every week, we're going to pick 2 movies, okay? And we're going to have them duel, and we're going to find out which movie wins the duel.
It's true.
And so we'll talk about one movie, we'll talk about the other one, and then we'll talk about which one wins the duel. So this week, what are the movies, Nick?
The original Alien and the original Predator.
Yes.
Alien versus Predator,
but not
the movie Alien versus Predator.
Which I saw a long time ago. It wasn't very good,
yeah.
if I remember.
I think there's 2 of them.
There's the second one, yeah. It's called Requiem.
They're both pretty bad.
Yeah, I never saw the second one, but yeah. All right, so anyway, we're going to start with Alien. All right, so if you've never seen Alien, I'm going to give you a quick sort of little synopsis of what happened in the movie.
Okay.
All right?
Go for it.
But I'll try not to spoil the end, because maybe you haven't seen it. More than likely you have.
It is a 1979 movie, so...
It is. But maybe you're like a young person and you never watched Alien. It is possible. So, anyway.
We'll give a spoiler alert if we say anything.
So, Alien starts out with the ship. It's like a deep mining operation. And they're all in suspended animation. And they're coming back from their mining operation. I think they're towing like a big asteroid or something. Or they mined a bunch of stuff and they're bringing it back.
Right.
This ship is massive, by the way.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're coming back. Well, all of a sudden they wake up out of their suspended animation. And they all wake up. And they're not home yet, so they don't understand why they woke up. But there's a computer called Mother. And Mother woke them up because Mother heard a distress signal. And apparently, if you're in deep space and you hear a distress signal, the company which owns the mining operation in the ship says you have to go investigate. So they wake them up and they have to go investigate. So they load in their little shuttle ship to go down to the surface of this. It's not really a planet, it's a planetoid, right? So they go down to this planetoid. I don't know, it's smaller than a planet.
Sure.
Anyway, so they go down to the surface, and of course their ship gets damaged, right? So, because there's turbulence and a meteor shower or something. Anyway, it's damaged. So they're stuck. So while they're stuck trying to fix their ship to get back to the main ship, they decide to go investigate this distress signal. So they walk through and they have their space suits on and they're going through, and they find a weird spaceship. It's like a weird like a U-shaped spaceship.
Almost like a horseshoe. Or
yeah, like a horseshoe shaped thing. So they go in, they investigate. They find this massive alien husk body or whatever, this huge alien guy who looks like he's the pilot. And they're walking around and they find these eggs. They look like these little eggs that are all sticking. This guy, of course, like every horror movie moron, looks inside the egg. What is this? He's poking it. It's all gelling and stuff. All of a sudden, a thing jumps out of the egg onto his face mask, and somehow it quickly burns through the face mask and sucks onto his head, to his face. These are what are in the alien lore is called the face hugger. So it's on his face. So of course they're freaking out. They're carrying him back to the ship, and Ripley, our heroine of the ship, she's in the ship, and she's like, dude, you can't come in here. You have to be in quarantine for 24 hours. They're like, no, he's dying. You got to let us in. She's like, dude, you're not getting in here. But they have this other character named Ash. He lets them in. He opens the airlock.
He's the science officer.
He's the science officer. And she's like, dude, you weren't supposed to do that. He's like, I know, I did it anyway. But he is fascinated by this alien life form that is attached to this guy's face. So he gets him on his sciencey medical lab, and he's all investigating him. And he's trying to figure out how to get this thing off him, because they do an X-ray, and the thing has some of its tentacles and stuff down into his throat, keeping him alive, breathing,
right.
And so brilliant science guy starts to take off one of this little creature's legs, acid inside for blood, and it starts burning like almost through the whole ship. They're like, oh my god, it went like 5 levels down in the ship. And I'm like, really? What kind of acid is this? But anyway, so it goes all the way down. And so anyway, so they're freaking out. But anyway, so they're trying to figure out how to detach this thing from this guy's face. Is this taking too long?
No, go.
Okay. So they finally it just detaches from his face and dies and falls on the ground. And then the guy just wakes up like a couple hours later and he's fine, right? And you're like, wow. So they're going down. They're going to go back in suspended animation because they have like 10 months left till they get back. So they're having like their last meal. And this is like the like very famous scene. He's eating this guy who just had the thing on his face.
Do I interrupt if I want to say something?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, jump in.
I mean, it's not part of the synopsis, but if this guy had an alien stuck to his face for like a couple hours, and you're not going to keep him quarantined from everybody, you just let him back in. And
well, he seemed fine,
right?
And there is another little twist that might be why the science officer cleared him, right?
Right.
Okay, we'll get to that.
But if you're the rest of the crew, like,
you'd be like, yeah. But science guy says it's fine.
Yeah, but the science guy is.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So, but no, true. Little bit. Yeah. So anyway, okay, so he's eating, all of a sudden he like starts choking. They're like, are you okay? And he starts really choking. They're like, get him on the table. He's like, choking bad. And then we have the chest burster. This little alien pops right out of his chest. It's pretty gross, actually. A lot of blood.
It's pretty bloody,
yeah, it's pretty bloody. And it comes out, and they see this little alien pop out of his chest. So obviously this facehugger thing planted it in him, and now it's burst out of his chest. And they're like looking at this thing. It's pretty small, and the other guys are going to kill it. And the science officer is like, no, don't touch it. Like it's supposed to be dangerous or something. Like it just burst out of this guy's chest, and so it runs off and scurries off into the dark. And they're like, yeah, that was brilliant. You had your one chance, right, when it was small. Well, then of course the rest of the movie they're looking for this alien, and of course, as the movie goes on, the alien grows. Like in like an hour, it grows from like this tiny thing to like a full-size, huge, bigger than the man alien. It's like in the air ducts, and they're chasing it all around. And of course, the alien is slowly picking them off, and it becomes like your typical monster movie at that point, where
it sheds its skin like one time, and
and it's all of a sudden
it's like a little snake skin that you see, and then all of a sudden when you see it, it's like 6 feet tall.
Correct, 6 feet tall. But anyway, so the story then goes that it's. Ripley is our heroine. She ends up being the one who, finally defeats the alien. But that's the synopsis. So, what did you think about Alien rewatching it after all this time?
Like most Ridley Scott movies, I felt like it's a little bit long. It takes a little bit of time to get going.
It takes a lot of time to get going, right?
Story-wise, I think it's an original story for back then.
Yeah.
I actually watched Aliens before I ever watched Alien.
Yeah, so a little funny story. We used to record movies off like HBO on like VHS, right? And then we'd rewatch them. Well, for some reason, my dad recorded the original Alien, but he forgot to start it on time. So he like recorded it like right at like the dinner scene. Like I missed like the first 45 minutes of the movie.
Right, and I think that's the version I watched too, because I don't remember any of that part where they went to the spaceship or anything.
So like it was like 10 years after I saw Aliens before I went back and actually saw Alien and like saw the first like 45 minutes of it.
Right. Same.
But yeah, anyway.
But over and all, I think it's a pretty good movie. I think, the special effects are Stan Winston, Creature are in both of these movies.
No, H.R. Geiger did Alien, I think.
Did he?
I think Stan Winston did Predator.
I'm pretty sure he did both of them.
He might have been.
I think Geiger did like some of the original artwork and stuff like that. But I think
Stan Winston you probably are right.
So it's dated a little bit. I mean, it's almost a 40-year-old movie, so...
I thought the special effects held up pretty well.
They're kind of stagnant in some places.
A little bit. I'm always cracked up by how they thought computers would look.
Right.
Like, no one thought we'd have a graphic user interface at that point. Like, no touch screen. It's like you type.
Well, I mean, they were going off of what they knew. But
I know. But they didn't think it would
evolve. The cockpit of, like, the Mother, where Mother is, reminded me a lot of, like, the 2001.
Yeah, it was very 2001-ish. Yeah, I agree with that.
So, kind of just going off of what they already knew. But other than it being a little slow... it's a pretty decent movie. It holds up pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, I thought it held up really well.
I mean, the acting was pretty good.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver, I think this was her first major role. I thought she did a really good job.
And I think this, correct me if I'm wrong, but up until then, there wasn't really a big, like, heroine only in a action sci-fi type movie. I mean, it was always like a leading man.
Yeah. I think that's
so it was kind of a
typical
break from the norm back then.
No, I think so.
What did you think?
I liked it. I thought it was really well. I thought it held up pretty well. I mean, I did get a little time to get going, but I kind of like how old movies kind of took their time. I guess the one thing, if you're going to take your time, maybe develop the characters a little better.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like any of the characters had hardly any character development.
Sure.
Not even Ripley really had much character development, to be honest. I mean, there really wasn't much to any of the characters.
Okay, can we talk about the cat? I mean, how many people died trying to save this cat?
Well, yeah,
or at
and
least
why do you even have a
looking for the cat? Or,
Yeah.
like the cat, I would have just fed the cat to the alien and got rid of it and, like, saved myself.
Why didn't the alien
Because
eat the cat?
The one dude got killed looking for the cat.
Yeah.
Ripley almost got killed trying to save the cat. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's a cat.
But
Like, I know we all love cats, but...
So do you think, okay, at the end of the movie when she's, like, with the alien in that thing and she's, like, getting ready to go back to sleep, was that, like, the skimpiest outfit you've ever seen?
I mean, for 1979...
It was pretty... It was
like,
kind of... I thought it was like, wow, they're really trying to get the you know, sex appeal
And
going
what was
on.
the alien doing at the end there? Like, it got in the shuttle, and then, like, she has time to put on her spacesuit and go in the corner, and it's just, like, sitting there.
Well, I think it was, like, hibernating or sleeping or something. Like, it was in a dormant state.
But why would it do that? It knows that she's right there.
Well, I think it was asleep before... It didn't realize she was in there or something. Or maybe it was hiding in those air ducts or
Or
something.
maybe it was just going to try and
Yeah.
not be seen so it could just go wherever she's going.
Maybe. I think it was trying to be sneaky, but... Yeah, I'm not sure.
But as soon as she's, like, moving and she's putting on her suit, and
Yeah.
it's just weird. Like,
It was
just,
a little weird.
Like, even when she started flashing it with those vents or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it came to life or
Yeah,
woke up
correct.
or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
there was a period of time there where it could have just, like, completely destroyed her.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting there.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. So, but I think it was worried that if it killed her, then because wasn't she piloting the shuttle? So did it need her to take it back?
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, maybe it was trying to...
I mean, she was getting ready to go to sleep, so I'm assuming it would have been on autopilot. But how smart is that? I mean, it knew that it had to get on that ship.
Yeah, I always thought the aliens were pretty smart, but you don't really understand. They never really show how much real intelligence they have. But yeah, no, I thought it was really well done. I thought it was pretty... it is a classic, I think. I thought it held up pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, I still probably like Aliens better, probably just because that's what I grew up on, and it's more of action.
Action, yeah.
But this one was good.
This one's more of a
feature.
The alien hunting down each person, and
Yeah.
it's kind of more like a classic horror monster
Correct.
type
Yeah, definitely.
movie, I think.
Yep. All right. All right. So rating for Alien. Here's our rating scale. So we've got what's the lowest, Nick?
I wouldn't even watch it if it was on my free Netflix account.
On my free Netflix account, assuming your Netflix is free.
And I recommend other people not either.
Correct. All right. Then there's Netflix, which is above not on Netflix.
Correct.
Then there's at the cheap theater, which currently in our town we don't have a cheap theater anymore. But if you did have like a second run theater,
Well, there's probably like a rental in between there. Like, I would go out and rent this
go
movie.
out and rent it. All right. Then the second run, then the main theater, but in the afternoon, like
a matinee, like regular
Yeah.
theater.
Or I'd go at night. It's that good. Like I'd pay full night price, or I'd pay like IMAX 3D price.
Okay.
I think the problem with Alien is that it's such a classic, and I think it has such...
Let's say if it was brand new in the
Brand
theater,
new, okay.
how would you...
Without
want to
any
see
of
it?
the legacy.
Right. How would you recommend it?
I think it would be... I'd go see it at night, but not necessarily IMAX 3D.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I mean, not that it was filmed in IMAX 3D, so it wouldn't be
Correct. But, in theory.
But in theory.
Correct.
Like, price-wise...
So your rating is the same as my rating?
Yes.
Okay. So Aliens raked at evening movie ticket price.
I'll go first on the next one, so you can
Alright.
copy off me.
You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
All right, so now we're going to do Predator, which was 1987, so 8 years after Alien.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Nick's going to hit us with the synopsis.
All right, so we start out with Dutch, who is our main character. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's the leader of this group of search and rescue. I don't know if they ever say if they're Marines or Army or... They're special forces.
Yeah.
So they go behind enemy lines and they pick up people that get lost or whatever. And there's a cabinet minister that is lost to somewhere in Central America. They don't really tell us the country.
They don't tell us the country.
Just behind enemy lines, the helicopter got shut down. This is the story they're given. To go rescue this cabinet minister and his ex-buddy, Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers, is a CIA agent. And so he's the one that's going to come along with them and kind of help lead the mission or whatever. So they go into the jungles, and they're trying to find what happened to this cabinet minister, and they find a helicopter. So they have like a group, like with Jesse the Body Ventura, and there's a few other. There's
an Indian guy. There's a nerdy guy.
There's like about 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah,
it's a pretty small group, but so they find a helicopter that had been downed, and there's a group of Green Berets that Dutch realizes he knows who they are, and they've been skinned and they've been hung upside down, and it's pretty gross. It's pretty bloody. So they don't know exactly what happened, but it looks like there was a firefight, and it looks like there was shots in all directions. Like they didn't know who they were fighting. There's no tracks leading in or out, so they don't know exactly what happened to these people. So a little bit later, they come along the little military group that's supposed
rebels
holding the cabinet minister, and in classic 80s style action.
Yeah, I love that whole sequence. It's like everything's just blown up. People are flying.
You know, it's 7 guys against 40, and none of them get hit by a bullet. It's like G.I. Joe all over again. You know, none of the main characters ever get hit with anything. And so they decimate this little camp. I mean, they kill everybody. There's like one lady that is still alive, and the CIA guy wants to take her captive. And they find out that they're not actually there for a search and rescue. They're actually there because there's intelligence information in this little camp, and that's why the CIA guy wanted them to go there. So Dutch gets all mad about that, but they're already there. There's not much they can do. So they're gonna go to the rendezvous point, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden weird stuff starts happening. Maybe even before that. Before they go there, does something...
No, I think it's as they're leaving. Because they just found those bodies, but nothing happened on the way back. Or until they started heading back.
So it shows us from the Predator's point of view. He's watching this group. Like he can see infrared, and he's watching this group walk around and kind of keeping tabs on them. He hasn't really done anything yet, but... Oh, at the very beginning of the movie, too, it showed a spaceship with landing. So that might be important. So this is the Predator guy, the alien that's here amongst the little group. So he is basically here to hunt. He's a sportsman. They do it for fun. They don't want to hunt down like the weak, the people that are not able to defend themselves. They want like a challenge. They want to be able to hunt like the alpha. So he's watching this group, and he starts picking people off. Like, he has a cloaking device. They can't see him. They don't know what they're dealing with. And he's just starts picking them off one at a time. And they don't really know what to do. They hit it with a machine gun, so they know it bleeds. And the girl seems to know a little bit about it, just from the history.
She's with the one guy who first gets taken, right?
Right.
And then they hit it, and there's blood on the leaf, and she's the one who notices it first.
Right. And they're like, what happened? She's like, the forest just came alive, because he's cloaked, so they can't actually see him. It's just like a blur.
He looks like he blends in with the background, so it actually looks like the forest is coming alive.
So they think she's crazy. They don't know what's going on. The guy just gets killed, and she's the only one that saw it. And then he ambushes another, I think the 2 of them at the same time.
Jesse Ventura goes down next, right?
Yeah. And then they run after it, trying to find it, and they're shooting all over the place. I think that's when they actually hit it.
Can you imagine, with all that gunfire, how deaf they must have been after that? Their ears would be, like, ringing for, like, days.
Well, they took down, like, a good 8-mile radius of
jungle.
Of forest there.
Yeah.
Talk about deforestation, right? And so they're slowly starting to figure out that it has, like, a cloaking device, and that it has, like, these energy weapons that they're not used to. I mean, it blows a hole right through this guy's chest. It's, like, the size of a basketball.
Yeah, it's like and it's all fused. So they're like, what kind of ordnance would do this, you know?
And so the girl kind of seems to know a little bit about. She's like from the area, and she's like, this happens when it's hot out. They come.
There's like local legends about it or something.
So that's where we get a little bit of the backstory. It's kind of hokey, but. So then they decide they're going to start hunting it instead of it hunting them. So they start setting up all these traps and because they can't really get out because they're outside the extraction zone and they can't get to it without dealing with this creature. And what happens next?
Well, then he just starts picking them off kind of one by one.
Yeah, and it gets down to
basically
just the girl and
Dutch. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And Dutch has got to go mano a mano with it. And
That's right.
He figures out that it can see an infrared. Well,
by accident.
He dives in the water and he gets mud all over himself. And he notices that the creature walks by him and can't see him.
Correct.
So then he decides, okay, well, he sets up all these traps and he's going to take it on. And he ends up injuring it pretty bad. And then are we going to give away the ending?
You can if you want, sure.
And it goes into self-destruct mode and blows up, and somehow he survives because...
He starts running.
Yeah, but 30 seconds after he starts running, it blows up. And it looks like a nuclear explosion.
It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Nuclear explosions can't kill him.
Get to the chopper!
Get to the chopper!
This is the famous line from the movie. Along with his other little slapstick... 80s little hang around after he...
Yeah, no, he stabs that guy when they're doing the camp. He throws his knife and hits that guy and pins him to the pole. He's like, stick around.
Yeah.
That one was horrible. But he had some pretty good lines, too. Well, I liked... it's funny. Jesse Ventura, I thought, did really well with his lines.
Yeah.
He was actually
he didn't have very many lines. But...
He didn't have very many, but I thought when he was on screen, he really made a presence,
Sure.
It's too bad they killed him as early as they did.
And he had the best gun. And can we talk about the gun?
Yeah.
He had a little Gatling gun. That
like a
just,
minigun, yeah.
That thing was sick.
Something about the 80s, anytime anybody had a Gatling gun, it was just awesome, right? That was just the best.
I can't think of too many, but...
Yeah, there's a few. Well, he's bleeding, and the other guy's like, you're bleeding. He's like, I ain't got time to bleed. That was one of my favorite lines. And then,
yeah, he had some pretty good singers.
He had some pretty good singers. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger's other famous line is when the thing finally takes off its mask, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, you are one ugly motherfucker, or something like that.
Yeah, so they're going at it for a while, and the thing, I guess it deems him worthy of, hand-to-hand combat. The other ones it's just been blasting, but he has respect for Dutch now because Dutch has actually been hanging with him or whatever, so...
Well, yeah, so he takes off his mask, and then you're still looking at him through without the mask, without the infrared. It looks like he can see worse with that. Everything's red, right?
Yeah.
It's like, how can he even walk around like that? I'm like, how's he even hand-to-hand combating with vision that bad? I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow.
I know, but he has some huge mandibles.
Yeah, he's got quite the...
It's a Stan Winston thing, too.
Yeah, Stan Winston did a good job on that creature.
So what did you think about this movie? How did it stand up over the
I thought it held up pretty good. Now, that Arnold Schwarzenegger's acting is horrible. I forgot how bad of an actor was early on in his career. He got better as he went on.
Somewhat.
He's
still a pretty bad actor.
He's still pretty bad, but in movies as he got older, Kindergarten Cop and Twins, I felt when he did comedy, he was a little bit better. But man, that first scene where he's first meeting Apollo Creed or whatever his name is, and they're acting all buddies. It's that's horrible.
That guy's not a great actor.
Yeah, it's bad actors playing off bad actors.
Let's be honest.
It's bad.
The acting is not great. The dialogue is not great. But the overall story, I feel is pretty
The action was good. The story was good.
This is much more of an action movie than also.
Definitely. And the whole when it's finally him against the thing and he's setting all the traps, it's fun. It's really cool. It's a neat way to do it, and he finally the thing misses one trap, but then he's able to hit him with the other one because he's trying to get him to go under that log or whatever.
And he ends up seeing the spikes.
And he sees the spikes and he goes around and then he's still. So yeah, it's pretty solid. I liked it quite a bit.
I think it held up a little better, special effects wise.
Yeah, the special effects, especially of the creature, were really good.
Yeah. Well, this is 8 years later, too. So
that's true. I thought the alien special effects of the creature were pretty good, too, though.
That part at the end where she blew it out of the airlock and it's just, you can just tell it's this big dummy just...
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. That was pretty bad. But, overall it wasn't too bad, but it was very, stationary, one shot, looking at a certain part of it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. All right, so we done with Predator?
I think so.
All right, so now we're going to rate Predator with our movie rating system that we've established when we rate Alien.
I'm right exactly where I was with Alien on Predator. I would go nighttime to a regular theater, pay that price for it. I would not go IMAX 3D or...
Okay. I was going to say the same, but I think I want to be different. So I would probably do... I go to most of my movies matinee, so I'd probably do matinee. Because I don't think it's as high as Alien.
Okay.
I'd say matinee on that one. A little bit lower than you, but
Yeah.
so we're not quite the same.
All right.
Okay, cool. All right, good deal.
Totally.
All right, so we talked about Alien, we talked about Predator. So now we choose which one we think won the duel.
Do you want to break it down into different categories?
Like what kind of categories?
Like plot, cinematography, I don't know.
Sure, whatever you
Some
want.
different things.
Okay, sure. Plot. What do you think had the better plot?
Overall, I would say Alien.
Yeah, it seemed like a little more to it. The Predator was a fairly simple story.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're both decent plot-wise.
Yeah, true. Acting, obviously, Alien.
Yes.
Because the action Predator is
100%.
horrible. For action, I guess they're not technically both action movies, but for excitement, I'd say Predator had better action. I think they both had about the same suspense. Maybe Alien won a little bit on the suspense side.
I would give the slight edge to Alien on that. What about direction, like cinematography?
I didn't feel either one of them was really great. They were both fairly basic, I thought.
I would have to give the slight edge to Alien, even though I have a problem with the way Ridley Scott takes so long to set things up and
And there were some weird shots in
pans. It's like a shot that could take 30 seconds. I feel like he takes 2 minutes on sometimes. It just. And I have the same thing with Stanley Kubrick, who I love. I love Stanley Kubrick, but his cinematography sometimes it's just too long. It takes too long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of dragged out. It's very artsy kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
can be good.
Can be good.
It can
but
also,
there's certain
if you're trying to build suspense or do an action movie, sometimes it can kind of.
Lead character Ripley versus Dutch.
Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. So. They're the exact, complete opposites. Ripley is this sort of, female, cerebral, kind of smart, sort of tough as nails, but, soft exterior
kind
type
of gets
thing.
thrust into it, too. She's not, when you go into it, you don't know, oh, this is going to be the hero of our story.
Whereas Dutch, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's that typical, macho,
alpha,
testosterone-fueled, action hero of the 80s. He's everything about that. So they're exact opposites.
Right.
So to pick one, it would be hard.
I think for what they were going for in each movie, they both work.
Yeah, they both
as
work.
far as for that movie.
Yeah, that character matches that movie. You couldn't put the other character in the other movie or vice versa type of thing.
And if we're talking Ripley from Aliens, that's totally different. That's a totally different character.
Correct. She's so much more badass in that one. Than this one. Here, she has a couple things, but she's not quite the
right
butt kicker like she was in Aliens.
So that's undecided, I guess.
Yeah, I think they both fit their role.
Hard to.
Yeah. So special effects.
I gotta give the edge to Predator.
I would have to agree with you. Yeah, I think.
It is.
It is 8 years later.
8 years later. So.
But they're both still mostly practical effects though. So it's not like the time difference between 79 and 87 is that different.
Right. And I didn't hate the special effect. I thought that for a 1970s film, Alien held up pretty well.
Yeah.
What
about not necessarily believability, but continuity of the plot, plot holes type of that kind of stuff? Which one seemed more plausible considering we're talking about extraterrestrial aliens and stuff?
I would say Alien.
Really?
Yeah. Because they're deep in space, and you don't know what's out there.
That's true.
Something just coming here to hunt us for sport is kind of
kind of a stupid idea.
It's a fun story.
It's fun, but it's not real. Yeah. All right. Well, what do you think? Which did you pick?
Overall, as a film, I would have to say Alien.
Okay.
I think Predator is probably more fun and exciting to watch in certain parts.
Yeah.
But as far as I can't get over the bad acting and dialogue, dude. In Predator, man, it was really bad in some parts. For an 80s action movie, it's fun. It's a fun movie, but as an overall film, I would go with Alien.
Yeah, I think it was very good. I kind of feel like the heroes kind of embody what the films are. Alien film feels a little more cerebral, a little more slick, a little more well-crafted, And then Predator is just this bombastic, explosion, fun thing. But there's something really fun about that last scene between Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Predator, where they're like going mano a mano, and he's setting traps, and they have this big kind of battle royale.
Right.
Which you don't get that in Alien. It's much more kind of, you know, okay, I'm gonna knock you out the airlock and then hit you with the jets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, they're different, but yet they both have their charms, I guess. But in terms of a better film, I would say Alien definitely holds the edge. But there's something about Predator that's also kind of just.
So we both picked Alien.
Yeah, I guess we both picked. I thought you were gonna go with Predator. I really did.
I actually had more fun watching Predator.
Correct.
But
I didn't necessarily have more fun. I think I liked Alien better, but Predator was fun as well.
I mean, I like action sequences and stuff like that too.
Sure.
So, but I mean, looking at it as a whole film, I think Alien's better.
I think Alien holds up better too because a lot of the action in Predator, especially like when they're fighting the camp, it just feels really dated. Whereas nothing in Alien felt too dated to me because it doesn't try to do anything over the top, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool. There you go.
That's that.
That is that.
Doesn't that dude look like Tom Hardy?
All right. So so we've got our duel done. So we're gonna spend a little time just talking about what we saw recently. So Nick said he just recently saw Upgrade.
Upgraded, yes.
It's just Upgrade, I think, right?
Is it?
I think so.
I don't know.
I think it's Upgrade. But anyway,
I'd never even heard of this movie. My buddy was like, "Hey, you want to go see a movie?" I had already seen Avengers 3 times. I've already seen Solo. I've already seen Deadpool 2. And he was like, "Well, let's go see this movie, Upgrade." I'd never even heard of it. I had to Google it to see what it was.
Well, Christy and I, my wife, we went to go see a movie a few weeks back, and it was like I don't remember what it was. It was something kind of smaller. Oh, it was that the Breakers, or Blockers. We saw Blockers, and for some reason that movie had a bunch of really weird previews in front of it, and Upgrade was one of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So, what did you think of Upgrade?
It was all right. It was all right. It was fun. I didn't hate it. It was kind of predictable. I felt like.
Is it John Wick, but with like a weird sci-fi twist?
Sort of. So like this dude, he gets in a car crash. I'm not gonna spoil any of it, but
that's all in the preview. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets in a car crash. His wife dies. He's a paraplegic. Well, one of his old customers, he rebuilt. This is like in the future. I don't know, maybe 40, 50 years.
Oh, okay.
So he rebuilds old custom cars, and he's rebuilt this custom car for this software guy. And the software guy tells him when he's there, he's working on this chip that will like basically go in people's brain and help them function and stuff like this. So when he hears about this guy getting in this car crash and becoming a paraplegic, he offers to do this surgery on him to give him this chip to maybe help him start moving again. Well, not only does it help him start moving again, like this thing is like talking to him and like making him better at things, and it's helping him solve. Like the police have no idea like who these people are. Like if he gets in a car crash and then these people end up killing his wife, shooting him too. And so it's like taking over. It's not taking over. Like it asks his permission for stuff, and he has to give it permission to do things for him. But it's like figuring out who killed like his wife and like showing him how they could like go take care of it since the cops aren't doing anything about it, and like it progresses from there. But that's just a basic what it's about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty entertaining. It's kind of predictable, but overall I enjoyed it. I mean,
so when I was watching the trailer, like he starts getting like this badass like ninja moves, right? And stuff. It just looked really weird and animated the way he's like fighting, like
because it's not actually him.
Yeah, because the chip is like doing it. It just looked really goofy to me.
Yeah.
Did it seem goofy when you were watching it, or it kind of blended once you were in the flow of the movie a little better?
A little bit at first, but then I guess you get used to it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like the robots anticipating the moves of the other people.
Is it violent or is it like?
It's pretty violent.
Is it like kind of gory and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's rated R, right?
Yeah, it's
not that I pay attention to ratings anymore.
Right.
Now that I'm an adult, I don't really want to.
Yeah, it's pretty bloody.
Cool.
He goes and like gets revenge, and like the software guy has to try and shut this thing down.
Did you go see the new Death Wish yet?
I have not.
Oh, you should watch that.
Is it good?
I liked it for a stupid kind of ridiculous kind of movie.
Who's in that? I forgot.
It's Bruce Willis.
Is it Bruce?
Yeah, I enjoyed it because it's sort of that sort of B movie kind of crazy over.
That's is it a remake of the original?
Yeah, the original Death Wish with Charles Bronson or whatever.
I never saw it either.
I recently did actually watch the original Death Wish like last year or something. I'd never seen it before. But wife and I went to go see Ocean's 8 on Sunday. Yeah, that was good.
Isn't it like a whole new cast? It's not like the same people.
So Sandra Bullock is George Clooney's like sister.
Okay.
But it's like very similar to the first Ocean's 11, how she just got out of prison and she decides to pull this heist. And there's like the heist she's pulling somehow is a revenge on like an ex-lover who jilted her or betrayed her or whatever, you know.
So it's basically like a remake, just...
It's kind of, but with women, and it's pretty different because they're stealing like jewels this time.
So is it all women?
Yeah, the whole crew is women.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the like gimmick or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But it's got Sandra Bullock. Kate Blanchett is a pretty good character, and they have a bunch of the, you know, other characters that are kind of funny and quirky and whatever, you know. Like there's this girl hacker called Nine Ball, you know, and then the girl from The Office. You ever watch The Office? Kelly Kapoor.
I've seen a few episodes. I haven't really watched it.
She plays, you know, a jeweler, you know, who's there, but they all have like their little jobs. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, if you like heist movies, if you kind of go in without too high expectations, you know, it's fun. It's well done. They try to do like the whole big twist at the end, like Ocean's 11 always did, you know.
Yeah.
A couple of them work, but then they go a little too far with it, and you're like, no, that's just too much, you know. I mean, it's just getting stupid now, kind of thing. But you know, it was okay, that part. But no, overall the movie was entertaining. It could have been a little shorter, but what's her name? Anne Hathaway. Oh
yeah,
she's in it. She's kind of
Catwoman.
Yeah, I thought she did a good job playing sort of. She's like this actress who's like really self-absorbed, and I thought she did a really good job playing that character. So, but yeah.
Christy enjoyed that one?
Yeah, she liked it quite a bit. Cool. Yeah. So.
What else? I watched Thor Ragnarok for the second time. It's on Netflix now.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Last Jedi's coming to Netflix this month, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
I already bought that.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, Thor Ragnarok.
That's a really fun movie.
It was only the second time I've seen it, which is not normal. If I really like a movie, I've been seeing it multiple times.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, I've seen it twice. I liked it.
I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, it's a really fun movie. I think it's got a lot. It's just fun, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think I must have shown up to the theater late when I went and saw that the first time, because I don't remember the whole first part where he's talking to that dude. And
Surtur. Yeah. Huh. Cool. What else did we rent? Oh, we rented some some average movie called The Foreigner with Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan.
Sounds familiar.
It was not anything impressive.
Is it old? Is it new?
It came out like probably, I think it's been to rent for like a while, and so it's been...
People still rent movies?
Yeah. Huh. Been out for like a year.
Do that like Redbox?
We actually go to Family Video sometimes. Yeah.
We
did Redbox for a long time, and then I was like, you know, there's something fun about actually going to the video store and like walking around and looking for a movie.
I can't remember the last time I rented a movie.
I understand. And then we saw Gringo. Have you seen Gringo?
No, I haven't.
That wasn't too bad. That was kind of fun. A little different.
Who's in that?
It's got Joel Edgerton and Charlize Theron.
Okay.
But the plot's pretty stupid. It's like they're trying to like make a drug in Mexico, and they get in this guy who works for them who's being betrayed. He like goes there and realizes his guys are jerking him around, so he pretends to be kidnapped, and then he really does get kidnapped, and there's drug dealers and a drug cartel and all that crazy stuff.
I think maybe I've seen part of that.
It's like a crazy night in Mexico type of thing.
I feel like I've seen maybe part of that at some point.
So it wasn't...
Sounds familiar.
It was alright.
Maybe I just saw the previews, who knows.
It wasn't anything to write home about.
Did you see Solo? I
did see Solo.
I think we have talked about
We
Solo.
texted about it. I don't know if we discussed it. What did you think?
I thought it was fun.
I thought it was fun.
I enjoyed
liked it. Yeah.
It tanked big time. Did you see how much money it lost?
Well, lost. Crap. I don't know if it lost money.
No.
They said it.
Like, from what it was projected, it was
it was way below, yeah. Well, even compared to, like, Rogue One, it was, like, half or a third or whatever, you know?
I don't know how that happened. I would think, like, Rogue One is a story about a bunch of people nobody knows about, right?
Yeah, like, who would care?
But at least this one, you knew, like, Chewbacca's going to be in it, Han Solo was going to be in it.
Yeah. I would think Star Wars fans would be all over that.
Right.
I know there's still a faction out there that doesn't like The Last Jedi and is mad about Star Wars in general. I don't know how big they really are or how loud they are on the internet, but that could be part of it. I think part of it might be that it was too soon, too. Like, yeah. I mean, Last Jedi just came out. I think they should have waited a whole year. But, I don't know. that's just a theory. People have said that doesn't matter. If a Star Wars movie is good, people will go see it every month. I'm like, they might, but I think there does need to be a little bit of a recharge time, even for crazy Star Wars fans, because...
Well, plus Marvel is kind of like the big May...
Yeah, I don't know.
Giant.
I'm not sure why. I thought it was fun. If you like Serenity, I think you'd really like it, because it's kind of like a space western. And I didn't love the guy playing Han Solo. He was okay.
Right.
I really liked Chewbacca. I thought Lando was really good.
See, the whole Lando L3...
I didn't care about the L3
It was
thing.
weird.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
And then, like, the whole robot uprising. I could have done without all that, but...
Yeah, it was cute.
I thought he did alright as Lando. And Han Solo did an alright job. They could have done a lot worse, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But there's only one.
There's only one Han Solo. Yeah, those are hard shoes to fill.
Right. Anybody. I mean, I don't think anybody could have really...
No, there's nobody. I did really enjoy a few moments. Like, I really thought it was cool seeing how Chewbacca and Han Solo met for the first time. You know, I thought it was really cool seeing how he won the Millennium Falcon and how he initially lost, but then Lando was cheating and blah, 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 you know. And then I really enjoyed the Kessel Run, you know, and how they explained how the Millennium Falcon has its, like, superior navigation computer because they took that road. You know what I mean? Right. So all those kind of backstory kind of filling in blank stuff, I thought that was cool. It was nice little...
That scene where they're robbing that train or whatever it is, that is a sweet action sequence, dude.
And I thought the whole movie had some pretty cool action set pieces. You know, the train one is really cool. I thought
I thought that was one of the best action sequences I've seen in a while.
It was well done. That's what I mean. It was a really well done movie. I mean, if it wasn't Star Wars, I don't know how people would react to it. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm alright with there not being like Jedi and stuff because it's the Han Solo story.
Yeah, I don't think that matters. But I don't know. Maybe, but then again, I do feel like sometimes movies spend too much, or studio spends too much time thinking we want to hear what happened before. Like, I don't know. I mean, the backstory is kind of interesting, you know, because I'm a Star Wars nerd and I like seeing it. But I don't know if your average person really cares that much about young Han Solo.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on... Spoiler alert, turn this off if you don't want to hear what happens at the end of Han Solo.
Okay.
Darth Maul shows up at the end.
Yeah, so... Did you ever watch the Clone Wars?
Okay. A little bit. Like, I'm familiar that he, like, comes back and has robotic legs. And...
Yeah, so I think it's playing off of that a little bit.
But they've never really addressed that in the films. It's always kind of been... I mean, is Clone Wars canon? Everything that happened?
I think Clone Wars is canon, but I can't say for sure. But I asked my son watched it all. I didn't actually watch all the Clone Wars. But he said, yeah, he comes back. But I guess he was in that new Rebels show, too, I think, at some point.
Okay.
And so my son was saying, yeah, it's weird. He like came back with.
I know it's like him and he has a brother too.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Darth Maul does, and they're the ones that run like the syndicate. So that's why at the end when he comes in and he's the one running things.
Yeah, I guess that's
kind of like, oh well, this is kind of fake. But it's the first time I feel like a film has actually taken homage from like something that's happened in the Clone Wars where it's addressed it directly.
And I did feel like it wasn't really necessary, like throwing that little thing at the end there. I felt like felt a little desperate, like, oh look, we're gonna throw Darth Maul in here, everybody's gonna get all excited. You know what I mean? It's like, do we really need that? I mean, it was fine without it.
Right.
I mean,
it could have been Sidious or
it could have been anything. Sure. Well, it confused some people. It was like, well, some people thought it was like before, and that's why he was there. It's like, no, this is way after. This is the rebel.
I mean, whoever thought
the Empire has already taken over, and they're like, oh yeah. I guess I'm confused on the timeline. Well, this is someone who's not like a huge Star Wars fan, right? And they're not like worried about the timeline, so. Because the movie was a little confusing about the timeline, like where it fits in. I mean, it's like, okay, so it's before Rogue One, right?
Yes.
But it's after Episode 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you think
about Kira? Far after Episode 3?
I have no idea.
Okay. The girl?
Yeah.
I like her from Game of Thrones, so I was all... Yeah, it's Khaleesi. I like her. I like that actress. I like the character.
The character I thought was pretty cool. Like, it was pretty complex. Like,
yeah. I thought so. I like Woody Harrelson's character, too. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah? Yeah, I thought the acting was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought
the storyline was decent.
Everything about that movie was solid. There was nothing bad about it, I didn't think. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was solid. And I don't know what else you want from a Han Solo Star Wars movie set in the past.
True.
But yeah.
Truth.
I mean, it's not like you can have big, huge reveals or spoilers moving the story forward, right? There's only so much you can do.
Right.
It's so funny. Someone was like, well, I just can't get into movies where I know that the character's going to live and there's no real danger. I'm like, how many action movies do you watch? You really think Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to die in Predator? Or you really think... I mean, it's like... Aren't like most like action movies or... I mean, I guess there's a chance they could die, but it's very rare that the main hero dies.
I think that's why I like Infinity War so much. Because everybody dies. I mean, I know probably they're not really dead, but...
Sure. So.
Leaving that theater and not watching everybody else's faces, I was just like, I love it. I love that movie so much.
Sucker Punch.
You have no idea.
That's cool. Good. Yeah, for me, I guess since I read so many comic books, when comic book people die, it just has no effect on me.
No.
I'm like,
But for the average
movie,
that's why I think it's so good because like the average person was just like
what?
In shock, dude.
What
like they were crying.
Yeah, someone was saying how like I hang out with older people who have like daughters who are like teenagers or older, and because I'm old, but someone was saying, yeah, my daughter was like really broken up, and I'm like, really? Yeah, she was like devastated.
Dude,
I'm like, really?
Lots of people.
I guess
people had that reaction to it.
I'm like, okay, I felt nothing, but I guess I'm just jaded. I don't know.
I felt absolutely nothing. Screw Spider-Man.
I mean, I don't know.
Have you seen the meme where it's like the Infinity Wars action figure and it's Spider-Man? You pull it out, it's just like a bunch of dust in the pocket.
Well, I saw a meme that was like they released new like Avengers action figures, all a bunch of bags of dust in different colors. I saw that meme. I didn't see that one though, but cool.
What else? Have you seen Deadpool 2?
I have not. But somebody told me that he dies in it. But I'm guessing there's more to it. So.
I mean, yeah.
So.
It's good, though.
Cool.
It's funny.
Yeah,
if you like the first one.
I did. My wife didn't love it, so we haven't quite made it to the theater to see that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm a fan.
Cool. But yeah, those are most of the movies I've seen lately. We rent movies here and there.
I guess we won't talk about Deadpool 2 then.
No, let's not talk about it much more. I will see it eventually. I didn't see the first one.
I didn't like it as much as the first one.
That's what everybody
says. But it was still funny. Like there's a lot of good funny scenes in it.
Yeah. So I think I'll enjoy
action
it.
Scenes too. So.
Yeah, it looks fun. It looks like the supporting cast is really cool.
Yeah. Domino's cool.
Yeah, I hear she's really cool. Yeah. So.
She's a good addition.
I think I'll like it when I see it. I just haven't.
I don't want to say something, but I don't want to.
I know.
Never mind. Cool. Infinity Wars?
Liked it.
How many times did you see it?
Just once.
Just once. I went 3.
3 times.
3 times.
Wow. You're hardcore, man.
Dude, I love that movie.
It's pretty good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. In terms of pure enjoyment, that was one of my more enjoyable movies.
You know what I figured out? The movies that I like the most are the ones where there's like multiple action sequences going on at the same time and they are like cutting from one to the other.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, you had the whole Guardians of the Galaxy and Iron Man and everybody against Thanos on the planet.
Yeah.
And then you're cutting back to, like, I love that in movies. Like, even, like, The Phantom Menace, where they're doing that, or Return of the Jedi. Like, all of my favorite, like, action sci-fi type movies all have that.
Yeah, if done well, I think it's really effective. And with Infinity War, what they did really well, besides having all that cool stuff going on at once, was that how they mixed up the characters, you know, and made like some interesting combinations. Like you had, you know, Doctor Strange and Tony Stark, and then you had like Star-Lord in there, you know, they're all together, and then Thor with like Rocket Raccoon and Groot. You know, it was just fun seeing all those interactions of the different characters. In addition to the fact there was so much different things going on, and then at the end where it all kind of comes together is even cooler, you know, like when Thor reappears, you know, with his new axe or whatever.
And okay, where is Thor? Where is Thor? He shows up with his hammer. He's on the battlefield. They're like, oh, Thanos is here. Everybody else goes to run over there to fight him, and Thor's still dicking around on the battlefield somewhere when he's got this cool new hammer that he wants to kill Thanos with.
I think he was taking out all the people who were storming in, because he was really making short work of all the guys who were streaming into Wakanda.
No, but if you had a weapon that's specifically made to kill Thanos, and you know Thanos
was
is
it specifically to kill Thanos?
That's what he said. He said it's a Thanos killing weapon.
Well, I didn't say it 3 times.
And then he shows up when it's too late.
Yeah.
And he hits him in the chest, and he's like, should have went for the head. And then, you know what happens next.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Everybody blames Star-Lord, but Thor should have been.
Star-Lord had some blame. I think Doctor Strange had a little bit of blame.
Well, I feel like Doctor Strange knew what he had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like apparently they had to lose, right? That's a future he saw.
Right.
They had to lose that.
They only had one out of millions.
Yeah. So apparently that was the one.
That was the one. Stark's gotta live.
Yeah. Well, apparently Thanos
so
had to live too.
So he can die in part 2.
Yes. I was. That's the one thing I was disappointed about the movie. They did not kill Captain America, Iron Man, or Thor. I wanted one of those three to die. If one of those three had died, I think it would have had more effect because I know that their contracts are up and that they might actually stay dead.
Oh, you want to hear a really cool theory that I read the other day? Like, I'm all into these theories that, like, people have, like... Okay, so people think that Kira might be Rey's mom.
Yeah, you told me that one.
I told you that one. I don't really think that's true. But this other one that I read about, I don't think it's true either, but it's really cool. So, some people think that Loki disguised himself as Bruce Banner for the entire movie of Infinity War.
Okay.
And if you think about it, it's possible that he did.
Yeah, because he couldn't turn to the Hulk, right? He tried
because
a couple times.
Hulk got his ass smashed real quick by Thanos, right?
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know that the real Hulk would have done that.
Yeah, it's true.
Because Banner could still be with, like, Valkyrie and whoever else lived from... Because they only killed half the Asgardians, right?
Right.
They didn't show us what happened to the rest of them.
them.
So the theory is that Banner was always with the other group.
Yeah.
Loki fooled him into thinking that he was Banner, and then he just stuck with it the rest of the time because he knows the Avengers don't really like him anyways, and he has to go there for help.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty fun theory.
It's an interesting theory. I don't
think it's true, but
yeah, it's
the possibility of it being true is fun.
I can see it. Cool.
And if it was true, how cool would that be?
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be
pretty
awesome.
cool. That'd be cool if they pulled that off.
That'd be a good one.
See that? Yeah. The Russo brothers are probably like, man, why didn't we think of that? That would have been awesome.
They're like, well, that wasn't our intention, but now that we're reading about it, that sounds sweet. We should do that.
Right. Cool. All right. Anything
Anyways,
else? Quick hits?
I was watching The Punisher.
Oh, the
on
Netflix series? Yeah.
I'm like 7 or 8 episodes in. It's alright.
Yeah.
My brother, I wasn't really getting into it, and then my brother was like, I really liked it, so I was like, well, maybe it gets better. So I watched a couple more episodes, and I was like,
it's not really getting better.
It's not bad, but
yeah.
I'm just not getting into it.
Yeah.
It's really about all I've watched lately.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's all I had too. Good deal. Well, we're going to try and do this probably every 2-3 weeks, hopefully, is kind of the plan.
Yeah. So we should discuss what we want to do for next time.
Yes, so
We
first
should
of all...
put some options on the table here.
All right, but first of all, to our listeners, assuming we have some, feel free to give us feedback. Constructive feedback is best. If you have a suggestion of a movie battle, that's cool too. Like, hit us with some suggestions, and we'll think about it, and maybe we can do it.
Yeah. But don't hate us if we don't like your movie.
That's right. Well, whatever.
Because we'll be honest.
Yeah, we will be honest.
We'll tear it apart.
Yeah. So, all right, so we're going to talk about some possibilities.
So I was thinking maybe John Hughes theme.
Oh, that'd be cool. My wife could actually watch those with me.
So, I've seen... Okay, what's your favorite John Hughes movie? Let's go there.
I don't know. It's hard.
I'm going to have to go with Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Probably Ferris... I mean, I think I like Breakfast Club, but it doesn't hold up as well.
I've definitely seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off the most out of any of it.
I probably have
seen it easily 30 times.
I really love The Breakfast Club, but as you get older, that movie isn't quite as good as you remember.
Yeah, I've only seen The Breakfast Club a handful of times.
Because you die inside. No, I'm just
You die inside.
But yeah.
You know one
Breakfast
movie
Club?
that I've never watched all the way through?
What's that?
Pretty in Pink. Ever.
Really?
I've seen like most of it.
I've seen it.
Here and there, but I've never actually sat down and watched the whole thing.
I like my wife really likes 16 Candles, so I've watched that a few times.
I don't think I've watched that one either.
Yeah.
I don't really want to watch Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles, though.
Those are John Hughes movies. Are there other John Hughes movies you're not aware of? I mean, there's Plane, Trains, and Automobiles. But I don't know what you'd compare that to.
Was that John Hughes?
I believe it was.
Yeah. I've seen that once. It didn't... What about Dirty Rotten Scoundrels? Was that?
I don't think that was John Hughes. But I don't know. I mean,
We'd have to look
he did all the teen movies in the 80s, but then he did other stuff later, but I'm not quite sure.
I would say we'd have to do like 80s.
Yeah.
It'd almost have to be like...
I could see Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but what would we do it against? That's the trick. That would even have a chance.
I don't think I would even have to watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off because
I've actually watched it fairly recently.
I've literally seen that movie like 30 times.
Yeah.
I could probably recite it for you if you want me to.
Yeah. What could we do with Groundhog Day? Like Groundhog Day against something.
I love Groundhog Day.
Or what about Ghostbusters against something?
Ghostbusters, we could do.
But what would it go against?
I don't know. It's a good question. These are all good questions.
I thought about another one that my wife wouldn't watch with us. We could do like Halloween versus Friday the 13th.
We could.
Or even Halloween versus Nightmare on Elm Street. But I don't know which would be better. Nightmare on Elm Street's quite a bit different. Or we could do Nightmare on Elm Street versus Scream. I kind of want to watch Scream again. What could we do that against?
Scream.
But anyway, these are just, brainstorming ideas. So.
Okay. We'll think about it.
We'll think about it.
We'll get back to you.
But listeners, if you guys have any suggestions, hit us with it. We'll, definitely consider it. We're pretty open to ideas. If you got a good movie duel, we would be happy to tackle it.
I'd like to watch some movies I haven't watched before.
That'd be fun too.
Just because.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right, so I think we're signing off.
We bid you adieu.
Adieu. Goodbye.
To you and you and you.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.